like it's got something to say! Shut the fuck up!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second episode of Ammo Wrestling. This is a show where we just have one match, one chance for somebody to make a statement before we go into the next month, setting up for our next pay-per-view. Coming off the heels of going the social distance, Andy Garrett didn't really have that much fun of a time. Wants to switch that around before Kill the Lights next month. In that match, Andy fought what was essentially a plant in David Osborne, then was able to fight the debuting Reese Covington. Tonight, Andy Garrett will be going up against another debut. Catcher. As both men set to just kind of go at each other. Luke, probably more dangerous in these types of matches. He has absolutely nothing to lose. He's not under an ammo contract. He has everything to gain here this evening. As he just already picks up Andy in that triangle choke, lifting up a big man. Both of these men here tonight, relatively bigger than the average competitor, as Andy throwing those knees into the stomach that we know full well. Andy going for the pin early on. Testing to see where Luke was. Andy probably knows less about Luke Franklin. I don't even know a whole lot about Luke. Besides the fact that he calls himself the Kraken. There's a huge splash from the top rope from Andy Garrett. Somewhat unusual to see him do. Maybe thinking of unique ways to pick up wins here in ammo. It's that chop, that punch. Luke not really liking that, and that snap suplex. And then that sit-out Alabama slam. Like I said, calls himself the Kraken. No real reason behind it right now. Not really much of a submission guy. Focusing heavily on strikes as we see Andy giving him back in return. As he goes for another pin, that one doesn't even really get a count in. As he goes for that same maneuver. Once again, we saw that earlier in the matchup. Going for the stomp down, Andy getting to the outside. Luke taking this moment to gloat a little bit. Happy to have the upper hand this early on in the match. As he gets Irish whipped into that spine buster. Andy will focus in on some specific body parts, one of which being just the torso of his opponent, as you see with that chop. Capitalizing with that punch, but now he's going for that pile driver that we've seen him do so many times in the past. Scouting, looking at, trying to figure out where his opponent is right now. Trying to figure him out, hoping he can finally pick up a win. Doesn't have too many of those right now in ammo as he gets him over the top rope. just, again, focusing in on that ribs and that stomach, setting up for that F5 that he does. He that another pile driver, focusing on the head and the torso primarily. We saw him focus in on that leg a little bit. Very important to do when you're fighting a big opponent. Even though the size of these two men are very similar, taking out the leg is taking out the power and the base. As you see, he got closer to that 2 count. Maybe that leg just a little bit harder to kick out. As now the two men striking each other, just chopping at each other's chest, testing each other, lock up. Just more jockeying for position as Luke finally picks him up into that just slam, that mat slam. Picking him up and just finally picking up some momentum here. So he finally goes for the pin, gets a 1 count. Hoping to possibly get a little bit more, as you can see with that expression. Oh, just picking him up in that huge fastball punch. Like I said, focusing in on the strikes. Finally picking up 2 there. As he picks him up. Coming into that package pile driver on Andy Garrett. Moves like that can just knock your opponent out. And no, just another 2 count there. As Andy Garrett has just some resiliency left in him. Just kind of throwing the opponent. That's just hard to do. You can't do that with too many people. That signature move that he's pulled out in the past. Another kick out by Luke Franklin. Luke starting to pick back up some momentum again. Setting up for possibly another punch. A hit like that, while it can knock you out, that's really primarily just to kind of throw you off your game. It's like almost the helicopter spin of punches. There's a 2 count there following that tilt-a-whirl DDT. Luke showing some agility there. As he's grabbing by the beard and just chopping at his chest like he's chopping at lumber. Picking him up again. And that sit-out pile driver. That could be it right there, ladies and gentlemen. As he goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3, and that's it. As Luke